we can probably move on anyway and stuff. And this is being recorded, so whoever wants to see it later can see it. So we were going to paint this puppy. This is Moss. He is a friend of he is the pet of a friend of mine over in the UK. Her name's Angela Espin. She's a kind of an avid hill walker over there. He walks a lot of territory and stuff, and you can see by her, those are her shoes right there. And this is her little pup Moss, and he is probably right around 3 months here and stuff, 3 months old. And you can see he's very tired because they just came back from a walk and stuff. I've had this picture for quite a while, and I was wanting to do it, but I just never found time to do it or reason to do it. And now that I'm painting a lot of dogs again, that's why I thought I'd do it and stuff. Try to be a nice one to do because of his fur, being black and white. Very tough to paint. So it would be a nice warm up, I figured, to find out all those colors that are in this puppy and stuff. So this is Moss too. This is what I painted on Saturday. We did a little quick painting, testing out this some oil paper and stuff, some small sheets of oil paper, and versus some regular linen patches too, and see what the big difference is. So I still come out. I still like the linen oil prime linen a lot better. The other one's good. It's gonna work for painting some small ones, quick ones and stuff, but it just has a lot different texture than I'm used to, and the brush drags on it a little bit goofier. Mixing colors doesn't really mix as good the right way. It doesn't, naturally as I like in doing on this stuff. So
I've used that before, and I don't care for it.
yeah.
It's okay. I mean, in a pinch.
I'm going to be, doing the residency up in Michigan, and I got like 14 days, and I figure you'll be doing plein air, maybe twice 2 paintings a day. So you're going to have 28 paintings, and you go, God, that's going to be pretty heavy. So I figured maybe that might be a good time to do some sheets and stuff, and that way just sell the ones that turn out, and I don't have to worry about it that much. But anyway, okay, like I was saying, Moss here, little Moss, he's only like about a little bit over, probably right around 3 months old right now. Just got back from a long walk with her with his companion Angela here. Let's see, Moss. You can see Moss here. We can see his eyes. It's a little soft. The photo's a little soft, but that's what you deal with when you get photos from people and stuff, and you have to work with them. You got to, they're all going to. Not very many are really professional photographers and really shoot a very sharp shot, or you never know what they're going for. The thing with dogs is they're always moving too. I mean, they are. To get them to sit still for a second and get a shot, it can be an ordeal. And that's why we do have to work with photos and stuff, but with dogs and stuff, because they will not listen to anybody. I don't think any dog's trained long enough to sit and not move. So photos are pretty much the only way we can go. All we can do is ask for as many photos from our clients as much as we can get, so we can get a real feeling for who we're painting and stuff, what a clown they are, how serious they are. So that's the thing here. This guy, we know the backstory of, she's a big walker. He's just getting broken in, and they just came back, and he's really pooped right there. Again, looking at his eyes, you can see that they are They are, just photographed a little soft too, but as you can see, they are not quite fully dark and developed yet. Because usually the pupils will start, hardening up and stuff and you'll be able to get some really hard rings around those pupils and stuff. Color of the eyes, that's kind of goofy on the color in the eyes too, because you cannot really see the colors of those eyeballs. And that's why I chose this one, because he's not just not easy. I mean, but because he has a lot of subtleties in his color. And so let's dig into his color a little bit. We can see, the toughest parts are always going to be the whites. When we get these whites and stuff, we really have to figure out how to make those guys have structure. So we can, have, that this is up top, this is a side, this is a side, this is a front, this is a front, and this goes back. So we got to figure out colors and color combinations in white that are going to do that. And also knowing that the light is coming in from this direction. That's going to be a little tough, but we do have some nice colors that are already going on down in here, the paw area. You can see the pinks. You can see on the side over here, you got a little more greenish grays out a little bit. You probably also see that there are also a little bit of warm yellows in there. So we're going to be using those colors pretty much to make him work. His face work. His nostril, his nose, you can just see it like that is a brand new nose on a dog. It hasn't have the red coming through on it yet. Very dark, very black. Just like his fur. And so what I was thinking about this fur, you got this cool light coming in from over here. You can see the blue coolness over here. And you got the reflection of the brown door up here coming down over here, reflecting on this side of his fur. And then you got over here, back in there, you got a little sunlight just barely getting through the door, and you got a little bit of shadow cast by his head coming in. Hard to see all that because he is a dark dog. You really got to look to be able to see some of these things. You can see how his leg is, tucked in there, and how his back leg is coming in, and then maybe I think this could be a tail, or that could be his foot. That part we really can't tell. So what I'm going to be doing on this dog to separate his head from his body, basically, we're going to have to paint that two different ways. Well, color-wise, we're going to have to paint this a little differently because of we need the cool section here to be your dominant section. You need this over here, this warm section, to be your recede and not be your subordinate section. You can see the red, a lot of reds in here. So that's going to help us bring the head forward, because are going to be some nice warm colors going on in his fur on this side. And then we're going to contrast that with some cool ones, which should just be the contrast itself. Move that face forward and keep this thing back here. The nice thing about his position and curledness and stuff is that there is no contrast except for the leg here that we have to worry about. This is all pretty soft fur, and that's the thing about Tim too. His fur is kind of fun because there are different types of fur going on, from his face to his ears to his puppy fur back in here. It's more like fluff. And his ears just have some nice strokes that are waiting to happen. You can just see the strokes just pulling off up in here and around and stuff. Those are going to be really nice finishing strokes to put in. Same with the legs too. The legs, I think the legs, that lighting on the legs right in there is probably going to really, and the nose, are really going to be the key things that really pop this dog, make this stand out. The shoe and the background. The shoe's important. I think the shoe is important. It doesn't have to be, I don't paint logos. You don't have to paint logos. You don't have to get too detailed with a lot of this stuff, but some things to make it readable that it is a shoe. Or I don't think anybody cares if it's a hiking shoe or whatever. The color's good. The color, the brown color against that stuff, that works. So I would still, you can still use all the colors, because we've got a red brown here, which is nice because it comes forward, but then you got this yellow brown back in here and that recedes. So that's nice. I mean, if you want to put in the door lines, go ahead. I'm not going to worry about that stuff tonight. I think I'm just going to really go after Moss's head and shape and stuff and get this kind of stuff done. And if we'll get time, I'll work on the shoe a little bit. I think the shoe, I'm just going to keep it really loosey-goosey. Pretty much the whole thing's going to be loosey-goosey. Anyway, any questions?
Well, the shoe tells the story.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, shoe tells the story. We're set then. All right, guys.
Even though I don't want to do it.
You don't want to do the shoe? You don't have to. I mean, well, then you have to replace it with something. Put a bucket underneath them. I don't know. Put a brick. I've seen, put a step.
No,
I've seen some weird stuff there can happen.
it's good practice.
It is. And I think it'll be fun. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So let's go over, we'll go through the colors again and see how we do. Here we go, colors. Here's my kit for this one, which is pretty much the same as usual. I got some unbleached white. I got titanium white. I have the Melba white, which is a lighter, cooler white than titanium white. I have some cad yellow deep here. This that is left over from another painting. I just sitting there, and it's still good. I mean, so I don't, I don't get rid of paint. Over here we have cad yellow light. Then I got cad red light, cad orange, and those are Rembrandt colors. Oh, and this is ochre, yellow ochre. This is transparent oxide red, but we've said you can use a few different things. We've used over the years now. We used Venetian and we've used Terra Rosa for here. This kind of a warm red, even Indian red will work. This over here is rose madder, permanent rose madder, alizarin crimson basically. That's I'm looking for. Here I have some blue. I'm going to need some more blue than that. This is cobalt blue hue by Utrecht. I like that color. Been using it. Got burnt sienna, burnt umber. Definitely going to need burnt sienna, burnt umber. Phthalo green be nice to have, and if you have King's blue, be nice to have. Okay. Any questions? Okay, here we go. Colors. Let's see. Let's get mixing. We can paint anything loose. Oh, here's my brushes. Of course, my brushes. Of course, I use my big brushes. These are like 2 inches. These are my really tight, clean, sharp synthetics. These are some bristle brushes. These guys, when you want to really load on a lot of paint, here, oops. You want to load a lot of paint on, like if you want to do the legs and stuff and get this kind of fur action and stuff. These are kind of brushes. Now, the bristles will separate just right and kind of feel like make those moments and stuff. A lot of times everywhere else I can see pretty much, I think a synthetic will work. These are some other synthetics I use. These are rosemary synthetics. These are just some other ones, some knockoffs. Nothing too fancy, some Jerry Argarama type ones. But they work really well. At the very beginning, when they're brand new, they work great. But they don't last very long. Rosemary lasts a lot longer. And then here's more sizes and stuff. These are 12s. These holes right here, number 12s. This is like a 6. And then I cut down to 4s. And then I can cut down to a little bit smaller ones. 2s at the most, and then I go to my knife. This is like a kneaded eraser for the oil paints off this stuff. Especially when you're painting on linen, you can almost erase right back to the canvas with this. It really helps when you need to put a dark in over a light and stuff. Just really lets it go in cleanly. Okay, so that's my kit I'll be using tonight. Over here, palette knife, of course. Like I said, my big brushes. I'll be starting off with those. Anybody else need to come in? Admit Brenda. Okay. All right. So here we got, this is moss. Then we got our colors. Let's go with the dark ones first. I want to get that separation. I want to get the front, his front head. I want to make it darker than his body, or his head comes forward. Stuff. So I'm going to look at his eyes. Second, I'm going to bring it back up. Okay, yeah, his eyes. They have a little cast of blue to them and stuff. So I'm going to go with like. They also have some red to them on the sides. So let's go with blue and oxide red. I'm going to do 2 versions, one on the oxide red side, which is kind of a brown, and then a cooler side, which is more blue. And these are going to be for his eyes, and they'll end up being for his nose too. Stuff. I'll have to do a couple more warms. All right. Now, let's do his nose, and what I do for his nose is also going to translate into the side of his head here. I would use blue and burnt umber. Start with that. Sorry, I gotta meet y'all. There you go. We got somebody watching TV on us. I can't believe it. So this is burnt umber and blue, and that's a lot of burnt umber in that. So I want to make sure I have one that's cool and one that's warm. One has more burnt umber in it, and one has a little more blue in it. And I might even cheat it. just has a little bit of burn umber into it and a lot of blue. That might be nice to have. A lot of these colors I'm going to be toning down, taking down a step. So big piles. It's always good. Okay. That's pretty good. I want to take one more warm. I want to do warm dark. So I don't have too many warm darks. This is Cad Red and Blue. Cad Red and Blue. This will make a nice purple too, a warm purple. It's going to come in handy. This one is, you can just see it's warmer than this oxide red and blue version right here. So that would be nice to have in here. Might be just, let me try making it not so red too. Okay. One more color I want to have. This is for the nose, I think. This is, since I have it out, Phthalo Green and a little oxide red. I think this color, when I knock it all the way down with some white and stuff. So this is like half and half, so it's kind of a nice, this a little green, just a little red into it. Trying to, there you go, get a kind of goofy color here. I think when I knock this color down, I can get it down to a nice shadow, cool shadow color. So that's what I'm thinking about. That's why I'm bringing in Phthalo Green at this point. Okay. Let's bring these colors all down and get the middle tones. Or we can get the shoe too over here. The shoe might be important. So let's get that color in. I'm going to go with burnt sienna to start off with, and some ochre. Just to start with. This will probably end up being a topping color. I'm going to try and, put some colors underneath the shoe to give it all the shape and everything and the shadows and stuff. And then come back with a, basic, really nice color that can blend out and go over these other colors and just bring them all together. So that would be something like this. So this is just really a simple color of burnt sienna and ochre. Let me see. I might heighten it a little bit, like I'm going to do with all these colors. Let's try doing unbleached white with this. This is unbleached white with burnt sienna and ochre. And you can see, yeah, that's just, wow, that put it right there. This would be like the color. And then, some highlight colors. Just a lot more white, more unbleached white into it. And then you got pretty much the shoe colors right there. Might end up cooling it off just with a little red, cool red into it. Let's put a little alizarin into it just to cool it off too a little bit. Getting warm. Those guys will work together. Can be the shoe. These other colors, I'm going to get the shoe. Some of the, I know I'm going to get the heel and some of these flooring and everything else out of these colors up here. All right. I'm just going to try and take these blues down, these cool colors here, and start getting them towards his face. So just taking a little piece of each one of these piles and bringing it down, I think that should do it. And you're gonna find some go kind of different purples and blues and stuff. And I'm gonna put these guys underneath, and then I'll add these guys on top. I'm gonna use I'm just go with titanium white. So it's going to be, I would say 3/4 the color, 3/4 to 1/4 white added in. I want to keep these guys kind of dark, these dark things, and you can start seeing, yeah, that's going to hit a lot of nice places in the fur right here. This is the cab red and blue, and this is the should be on more on the blue side, I think. I'm going to put more blue into it, and that's the same thing. Put just a little bit of white into that. I want to bring out the blue in this. And that will start being in the back end and stuff. This might even, you know, these colors here are what I would say would be midtones. You know, we'll be using these guys here pretty much underneath for the close areas for the nose and nostrils, maybe the crevices inside the ear and stuff. And then I'll be using these guys here for the brightness, part of starting the brightness and stuff. But in the back, on the back section here of the dog, these will become the, pretty much will become the darks. These will be as dark as they go, which will bring these guys forward, which will, you know, make his head come forward. You guys got that? Good. Okay. Same thing here. Going to do the same thing here, just to see. You're going to need a lot of things. I started to see. I thought this color here would probably work more around the side of his face, this cool section and stuff. You can start seeing it on there, and then with this one being on the blue side, should be really nice. Should be really close to this stuff, and this you can just start to see it work around his face here. You can see the. It's gonna be a nice transition into the heat. I mean the white on his face and stuff. Let me try. This over here is King's Blue. Try a little piece of King's Blue in here. You can get a nice. Looking for maybe a blue that goes around this outside here and stuff. Nice, the nice transition into the lighter fur. Same thing over here. I'm going to be using titanium white with pieces of these warmer grays, which were burnt umber and blue. And I expect these guys to be on this side of the face. So the burnt umber and blue areas will end up being on this side of the face. The other are going to be warmer. These are cooler. Just different light. And this is the one I kind of pushed the blue on it, and it went a hair too far. That'll be over in here, but maybe it's just a hair too far. Put a little more burnt umber into it, darken it up. Yeah, now it fits. And it's you're gonna find it in the nose. You're gonna find it in the nose. But then the fur over here, you can see the warmth. There's some reds and stuff I see in here. And then it goes kind of warmer browns over here. So he's starting off with these colors, ending up with these on the farther back. Okay, let's get those whites. We got the shoe done. We already have that done. Background, I'm not too worried about. Whites, like I was talking about his face. Okay, you need to get these areas here, which, you know, with a camera, they just burned them out. burn out the side of his face here. But they did okay on his foot. So we can use the colors on his foot and put them on his face, maybe just a hair degree lighter or something. But so let's work on his feet. We got some reds, we got some yellows, and we got some blue grays and stuff going on. So basically, I want to take some of these colors down. So this is that phthalo green and phthalo green and oxide red. I didn't take this one down to this section here either. I want to, before I go down there, I'm going to get one in here in the pile, because that's going to come in handy. That's going to be in here a lot. Okay, so I'm going to take that color down, way down, and see if I can, what happens when I take these colors way down to like 3/4 white, just a little bit of color. This is probably going to be, yeah, it's still staying a little green. Looks like it cooled off a lot though. So I was thinking about going in there. Yeah, it's not bad, not bad. I'm going to take a little bit of this burn umber or burnt sienna and ochre mix here in white. And well, that's it's not white, that's unbleached white. I'm going to get that, knock that down too. I'm going to need that color. That's a nice color. Start getting into, start seeing it getting into these feet stuff. You know, gonna need some reds and gonna need some oranges. Okay. So I got that. I definitely want a blue. So I'm gonna take these little piles here and really just hit these piles with a lot of white. A lot of white, but it's still not gonna try to go too crazy. Still be dark enough to get in here. You can start seeing this color down lower in its leg. That
And what would those colors be, please, Jim? That you're putting the
white in? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. This color is phthalo green and oxide red mix with white. This one is just white and burnt sienna and ochre with just a scraping of, had a little scraping of red into it, but unbleached, it was mixed with unbleached white. This one came down from up here, which was again red, oxide red and blue on the blue side, and added white, and I just really added a ton more white to it. And then I'm just taking little pieces of these midtones and I'm just going to bring them all down and do a few pure colors too. Ochre, cad red, and yellow. Maybe oxide red. And just each one of those is going to cut with white. Just like I did, want to get them all about this value. So you're going to get some need, since since we can't see anything there, we got to make up some, use color to make shapes, to make the structure for this face. So I'll probably have a red like this up towards the top, green on the sides, blue on the bottom, yellow on the right side where the sun is. So this would go on top, transition to this color too in there, going up here. Might have to go a little bit lighter. This is probably what this is at, probably 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably needs to be more closer to a 2 or 3 color. This is 0 with the pure white. This is just a little gray. This is probably the one I want to be at. And you could see the squint, not too bad, not really too bad. So I'm going to finish these off. I think this ochre one would be nice to have on the side of this face. That's usually a good one. You know, being able to use these colors. And what I said is I want to, the main areas on these side of these faces, this face, is I want to keep it in the yellow section. Doesn't mean I can't use blues and other colors in there. Just means I want to thinking about that as my go-to, my home value on that side of the face. That's a little strong. This might come in handy though for down here in his feet and stuff. So I'm not gonna throw that away. These are some purples. These are definitely some light purples. These are gonna be nice in the white fur. You know, when you get down in here and stuff, they're gonna go really nice with some, when you get transitions, you need transitions between dark fur and light fur, and just colors. No, it's always, I just like to have a lot of different purples. And these are just warm purples. These are ones made with warm, warm red. I probably could have a cool purple, which I don't have, which is, let me make that and they'll be done. These colors here too, well, you're going to find them around the eye, these purples. You're going to find them right around the eye. You're going to find just a little more red in them, right in here too, underneath his eyelids. So that's a little, this right here, this is a cad red and blue with a lot of white. And that now that has just a lot more cad red into it. But like I said, I wouldn't mind having a cool purple, since I have all these warm, these are all kind of like warm purples because they're made with a warm red. So I'd rather use a cool red and, you know, just to have this. Don't know where I'll use it. I might be able to find something in the nose. That's what I'm thinking. Also, this is a good, what am I doing? That I definitely need this color. That's an eyeball color, and I've just walked away from it because he doesn't have like piercing pupils, but this is like a pupil color I use.
And that would be those colors.
Alizarin, just alizarin and blue.
Oh, okay.
Alizarin and blue makes my pupil colors, and it's really good for the nose. Some of the really dark spots in the nose. Then you put like a warm red around it, and you get really a lot of depth in that nose. Okay, so I'm going to add some white to this dark here, and get my cool purples, and that should do it. It's a nice kind of a cool purple. Could have used a blue version of that purple too, and that'll be enough. We still got to draw this puppy out. Oh, that was a good one. All right. Again, I'll go over the colors one more time. We have here is, oh, this is cad red and blue, cad red and dark blue, these two. This one I wanted to make a little more blue than, didn't really, cad reds, I have a good cad red and it's pretty strong. So let's make sure there's a difference between the two barely. This is oxide red, transparent oxide red and blue. This is oxide red and blue, but more on the blue side. Those two, these ones are, this is blue and alizarin and blue. These are burnt umber and blue. This is on the burnt umber side. This is on the blue side. This is a little bit more on the blue side, burnt umber with blue, but it's more really on the blue side. Figured I might need one of those. Then I went on a warm side, kind of another kind of little brownish kind of color. This is phthalo green mixed with oxide red. Then I took all these colors and just knocked them down with a quarter amount of white added to them. So I got each one of these corresponds with these colors coming down. And you can start seeing the cooler purples here, which are going to really come out in his fur and on the side of his face. These warmer greens and stuff and browns are going to end up being on this side of his face, working its way into the fur. And then you got some nice blues going down in here. Then we took a lot of these colors and we still took them one more step down, trying to get into these white areas here and talking about how we're going to try and shape that face, you know, because it's all burnt out, how to get that back or figure it out. So structurally, it has a sides and a top and a bottom to a snout. Then we have some shoe color here, which is burnt siennas and ochres mixed with some unbleached white, but mixed with also just a touch of alizarin in it to gray it out a little bit. Then I'll be using just some of these other colors here, graying these browns out and stuff, and probably be able to get those shoe colors really easy. And, you know, and then the background, I'm not too worried about. I'm just going to be toning it with burnt umber. My canvas burnt umber, which if I did burnt sienna, probably would get really close to it, but I want to do burnt umber. So I want to keep it cool for him. Stuff. Okay, any questions? All right. Like I said, big brush, big ideas. Burnt umber, I'm going to start off with. And just tone the canvas. All the way off. One more shot should do it. Just gotta rub it in a bit. There we go. All right. Moss here. Let's paint moss. Let's see. He has, I know he starts about there, comes down about here, shoots across. Okay. Add ear. I about an inch from the edge. Okay. So This is about his head. Kind of see a circle here. His head. Now I want it right about here. So this circle comes down. Here comes off it. So in the circle, his eyeballs are pretty much in the middle of that circle. And this is an angle here. So I'm going to have to change the angle of that. Some more of that angles, because okay. From the middle of the eyes, figure out where the eyeballs are. That's usually the toughest thing, is trying to get the placement of the eyes. Getting this, splitting these things. If I split this, how much is on each side? And the eyeballs, pretty small eyes, really. His eyes are going to only be, not going to be a whole lot to them. Okay. Kind of find his nose almost right. And if I did doing that circle here, and then splitting it for his eyes, I find his tip of his nose, or at least the beginning of his nose, starts at the bottom of the circle and comes out a little bit. So right about there, like I said, his eyeballs, I'm going to darken them in just a little bit more. Okay. Markings, his markings are all center. They're not like perfectly symmetrical and stuff. You know, there's more on this side, a little bit of white more, and then this one kind of just jets down and off. His nose is right about there, kind of like I said, that make if you made a circle, be on the bottom part of the circle. Should match up with his eyes line a little bit. Bottom of his mouth. So right here, pretty small, keeping it tight. Just a little bit of a snout that goes out, just a little bit, see that little angle there. This side it comes out a little bit more. It's droopy because the droopy lip. Okay, and then rest falls into the shoe right in here. Okay, the shoe, you can make it your shoe. You don't have, doesn't have to be, you know, if you want to put your shoe up on the table and paint that, you know, go ahead. Okay. Like I said, I'm not going to, not too much into the shoe. I just need to get the placement for everything else. See how close his paw is to his get that distance between, his chin and paw here. I might bring his paw out just a little bit farther here, I think. Basically, I could use this line here. It gets a little fast. It works differently in a photo. So thinking about bringing it out and just slowing down this line so it doesn't just race across the bottom and stuff. You got something that stops and drags you in a little bit. Okay. There's markings back there close. Okay. My little Scooby-Doo, dog here. I think I'm gonna take his tail too and bring his tail out. I think his tail's, tapped in back in here a little bit. So I'm gonna bring his tail out here. That could be a foot. Just make that a foot. Can't see anything anyway right there. So these guys line up right there. That's a dark hole. Okay, here, ear, it's right in here. Okay, close enough. I'm trying to get the angles of the eyes too. They don't angle straight across. They kind of dip. So these back edges go up a little bit more. The eyelids in now. Think about the eyelids. There's markings. And he doesn't have too strong of well, you can't see him, but his eyebrows aren't really heavy yet. So okay, so that is the start of moss here. There's a pup. Get it, clean up this little mouth area here. How are we doing? Everybody doing okay?
I think I'm going to be leaving early, but this is very interesting. Thank you.
Thanks.
I
Thanks.
really, the way you lay it out and design it really helps.
Yeah, I tell you, that's where you need to spend a little bit of time, and I'm not rush it too much, because you don't have a good design, you kind of like wasting your time. How great you paint it sometimes won't make a difference. Let me see if I got, a lot of this is going to be all about this face, this little area here, where these eyeballs, it looks like his eyeball could come in a little bit. This one's fine. That one needed to come in. All right, and his nose. Usually I make, like I've been saying on a few of these things, that when I paint noses, I usually end up making them too small. So that's usually the thing I try to think about when I'm doing these guys, make sure I know the nose is the right size. Okay. Like I said, okay, let's get these, let me get some darks in. I'm gonna use my regular, number 12 on this thing. I'm gonna get the darks in first. Cool, like here I'm gonna start off with oxide red and blue here. And this is on the red side. I'm gonna start off in the inside of the shoe here and then come into his face. I think that's a nice, good place to start bringing in the color and start to set how I want this and stuff. So you can see the coolness in that color. Then I'll take a little more oxide red in it and just push that right on top of that blue so it comes forward a little bit more. Just a little piece that, and keep that oxide red. This is oxide red and blue, but it's on the oxide red side. And you're gonna find that, like all of his creases up around his ears, right in here, going around his head, and over here, just a little bit too much blue showing up right there. I'm going to use it into his ears over here. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of warm on this side, but I'm still going to be using a little bit of oxide red to do my shaping.
Can I ask what you're cutting it with?
I am cutting it with just barely a little bit of safflower oil.
Okay.
Just a hair of safflower oil. Not much. I'm just going to outline his eyes a little bit. Bring back some blue a little bit down here on his cheek here. Make sure there's this blue. So I'm pushing the blue right here, the coolness of that. And then maybe up here a little bit above his eyeball. Right up here, his forehead, just a little more blue showing up right there. A lot of these colors won't show up yet. I mean, won't show up until you put the next color, lighter color next to it. You won't be able to see that, but you got to have these, the structure of these warms underneath. I mean, cools, darks and cools warm against each other underneath, because it's really hard to get them back there after you start adding colors and stuff. You can't get these really solid darks that are so clean that really gives the structure to the painting. That's starting to be his ear. I might put in his eye. Okay, I'm going to put in his eye. This is blue and alizarin and stuff. I'm just going to do the top part of his eye. Usually this should be on the red side. This should be on the red side, so there's more alizarin in it. No white at all has been added. So this is right here, and then I'll also put it in for like a, I'm going to just paint in a pupil. Even though it's, we can't see it too much. Same over here. I'll put it in his eyeball where I think it's going. Since I have this color and stuff, I'm just going to be switching off blues and reds. More blue for his eye, but you can't really tell till I get the iris in. Okay. Like I said, you won't be able to see any of these colors. I'll bring it in close for a second here after I and try to show these colors. This is cad red and blue on the cad red side, straight cad red. And I'm going to make sure you can see it right here. Right here, almost you can see the red on my brush because I just grabbed some more. Really want to push the cad red a little bit on the few spots here. It's one of those like highlights and very, when you paint really dark, it's one of those like things that you can always use to get a highlight without using white. That will keep it rich, the color rich. Okay. So I got a lot of the stuff in on this side. This side, I'm just going to be more. This is going to be burnt umber and blue. This is on the burnt umber side. So you can see it's going to be more brown. You can't see it too much yet. A little blue in here. The midtones, when I put the midtones in, these colors will start to come to life. Trying to get that area here. It's a little more burnt umber. It's just burnt umber and put a little burnt sienna in here too, I think, right in here. Trying to get this to be a little lighter. Using burnt sienna mixed in here a little bit to get this. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in and put in midtones into these grays. And that's when you start to see how these things start to fall together. This color here, this is burnt umber blue and a lot of blue and just a little bit of white I'm putting in right now. That's a midtone. So it's just like barely any, just a hair of white going in here. And that's going to be like almost too bright, almost too bright. Okay. This is where I was saying I was going to use oxide red and blue here for the inside of his ear. Can't see it. It's on the red side. Doesn't show up yet. You even, yeah, I might have to do it with, okay, forget that. Okay. So that's just the highlight on this side was burnt umber and blue. And this is, it's on the blue side. And I'm gonna transit, they're gonna go find a few of these. This is more on the burnt umber side, burnt umber and blue, but it's on the burnt umber side with white. And that's what you're gonna start finding it up here for his nose. So you're gonna find a lot of that, these colors in his nose too. You're gonna find that blue in the front. and that on top. And then see what that does? It just goes boom and cuts it back, just like a square. And do the side with just a little bit more like red in it. So the top part of his nose here is burnt umber and blue, right? But it's on the burnt umber side. The front part of his face, his nose here, that is burnt umber and blue, but it's on the blue side. And they come straight down, and you're gonna find right in the middle, there's just a hair of a line. And that's usually the cowlick. It kind of goes right down on a dog's head, and it separates the hair, where the hair kind of shoots out from different angles and stuff. And that's going to usually run right down there too, really close to it. So right in there. Okay. Okay, back over on this side, since we have the nose just blocked in already. Okay, these are gonna be cool. These are gonna be purples, warm purples. This is this is cad red and blue, and it's on the cad red side with a little bit of white. And that's gonna go right in here. Let's just mark right in here on the outsides. So the outside's gonna have to be more red, have a little more red purple in it as it comes around, and then kind of up here it starts to mix with that burnt umber and blue up here. It's a nice mix, and then you'll be able to use it going around the ear here. Then inside, that's just on a little bit more blue section in here. Inside fur. And that ear, I think it has a little more blue to it because of the light from the door there, or a window. And then I'm going to use that same color. This color is oxide red and blue, with on the blue side. This might be too blue, but this, you start seeing this ring going around its head up here and stuff. And I'm going to put it in with this. It's a little strong, but I think it's going to dirty up a little bit, the color. Going to dirty up enough that it might work out pretty well, in fact. As my brush gets a little dirtier over here, you can it starts to work out a little bit better. Okay, coming in for the eyes. Underneath his eyes and stuff, a little bit more blue showing right here on that bone. His eye socket here, catching a little bit more light. Cool light underneath. It's probably what's right there too, right? Here. Okay. Okay, well, that's the easy part for the head, just getting that, these colors in, you just the basics. said. Even over here, I mean, you can use some of those warmer blues and stuff I have over there. We made up with a little bit of burnt umber and stuff, you know, but they're on the blue side and stuff. You can use those over here too. Those guys are gonna be really nice in here. You're gonna start finding them in this nose, top of this nose here. This might have to go just a touch more white into it. Yeah. That's gonna be part of that nose. Brush is a little bit big for diving in for the rest of these spots. So let's do the back, the other part of this dog. Let's get the the shadow side and the back body here. I'm going to go with I'm going to still going to go with some warm red and warm red and blue here for this back edge here. Into his arm here, and then switch over and put a blue lower here. Also, I'm gonna, you know, I got a lot of white yet to put in here and stuff, so that's what I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna hedge my bet and put some colors into these areas here. Blend this out just a hair, just a little bit too much of a line there. Okay. Now I'm going to bring some warm red into the crevices, especially in these areas here. Warm red, kind of a red purple, kind of a back in here. Let me see if this is the right color. This is burnt umber and blue with a little bit of white. I'll be going back and forth probably, just trying to get the right value here. Looks like might have just a hair too much white in it. So I'll be going back with the original color and shoving it in here. And what that will do is, if I try not to cover up everything, so I'm going to get this texture of the puppy fur in there really nicely without doing too much work. Here, it can be a little darker. It's going to close in here. You know where that line is and stuff, and I'm going to cross over it just a hair. That way, when I push the white in, I got a little bit of room to make some blends and stuff that will work out really simple and clean. Okay, so here I start pushing in the blue at the very top of the fur and bringing it back down. So it's catching a little light back up here, but it's cool light. So this is just basically burnt umber and red and blue. And at the top of the fur in here, I'm making, you know, looking for the dashes of this lighter blue that's in the brown fur. And then like I was saying before, there's this, just a little bit of sun that catches the back of this back part of his leg here. It arcs to the back. That should be a little more red in it. A little warmer. There you go. Now look for use that to bring up some of the fur on the side here. On his arms, you can just see in these, just using a warm into these, well, this is a warm red into these cooler blue and burnt umber areas and stuff. This becomes like a highlight almost, kind of brings it back out, comes forward a little bit. Okay. Like I said, I gotta see that tail. Push it out here. Put some more red in that. Redrawing a few things here, thinking about this boot. Okay. Get those just underneath them. Put a little warm. This is oxide red and blue underneath his chin here and stuff. There are some markings back in here and stuff too. But I can get those in just a little lighter. Right now, also I'm pushing the blue a little bit down here by his muzzle. Okay. Soften those around his eyes a little bit more. Looks like I need a little reds and stuff around his eyes on this side. That's jumping out a little bit too much. Okay. Soften up a few spots here. All right, I think I'm going to jump into his highlights. And then I'll work on his eyes. We want to kind of build these guys together a little bit. So I'm going to change brushes. With a little cleaner brush. Okay, set. Yellow on this side, the outside here. So I'm just gonna, this is gonna be more ochre on here. I'm gonna bring that up a little bit more. Yellow, white yellow, right in here on the ridge. So this is more cad yellow and white right here. And it comes down a little bit. On top of that, there's just a kind of a pink. I'm using oxide red and blue on the oxide red side with white here on the top edge. Might have to go, I'm gonna have to go lighter, but I'll be using that right in here. As I go up, I'll probably go to this has a little more burnt umber into it. I'll be bringing that back down too. Then on the outside, that's where I was going to use the phthalo green and oxide red with white on the outside. Other side. And it kind of comes down and around. It does come forward here and stuff, so I'll probably have to work in a little more. I need some of that pink into here. And use some of the pink underneath here to give it some shape. I'm going to bring back a little bit of yellow on the top here, right here. That should do it. Okay. Paw down here. Keeps that kind of warm. That is a little oxide red and oxide red and white. This color I'm putting on here is basically the shoe color with white in it. That really beigey color stuff. And I think you can see it's going to be in right about in here too a little bit. I don't want to. I should just put it in too soon there. I did. Showing off. I knew where the color went. Let's just tone those legs down. I'm going to use some burnt umber and green here. Tone this, gives us a first darkness here going in. And then I'll bring it back, lighten it up a little bit. That streak right, and then warm it up as it comes down here. Okay. This is a little bit of ochre and white right here. You can see patches of fur here, and I want to, before it goes to pink. This is pink is basically just cad red and white. That's where I'm going to come back in over here too and find a few spots for it right now. To bring that up too, I could use it just a little brighter right up in here. A little bit Bigfoot here, then it looks a little big. Oh well. Underneath his chin. All that fur back in here has a little red to it. So that's what I'm seeing. It's a little cad red mixed in with white here going in. These markings will fall back into space here. Okay, time to change brushes and get into his eyeballs. Just finish up a little bit of highlight work there. Okay. Let's see. I shoot down to probably number 4. Type size brush. And start digging into his eyes and nose and stuff. Get this nose, you know, start digging into the shapes. Now I got basically, I know, you know, structure wise, comes forward, recedes nicely. You know, I think I'm good. I'm gonna be good. So I know I got one more highlight to put on the head and stuff. And then get it in the right spot, things in the right spot. And that, but pretty good about that. All right. I'm going to use blue, a little bit of blue into his eyes. So this blue I'm going to be using is oxide red and blue, and it's on the blue side. Stuff and keep it a little thin and a little light. Get this, just that corner of his eye. Back sides of his eyes here. Just right over the dark. It's really thin. Just drag it over without messing up too much. Good. Now I just need to put in the dark ring that goes around the eye, the whole iris and stuff. Which is a pretty much. I'm just going to go cad red and blue, really just kind of a red brown kind of thing. It's just going to really cut around that whole iris here. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about, the whites of his eyes I can push back in. Let's go just a little darker back in this one. Bring that pupil back. I'm going to put the highlight, and I want to make sure that the pupil is dark, really dark, right by it. So it's because that's where all the focus will end up being as soon as when you do this, right on those pupils in the highlight. Get that right. All right, pupils. Cut back down to a really kind of small brush, number 2. I'm going to be putting these guys in with a purple white, basically oxide red, knocked down with blue, a lot of white. So it's really kind of a purple. I'm not going to put them into that. I'm going to put them into my knife. I need to put them in the knife. I've got too much paint there, so I'm going to put it in my knife that way. So I'm just going to get the tip of my knife and find it. The highlights are usually on the top part of the eye, lighter ones. And this one's just over to the right here. That one, and then this one's a lot smaller than that one, but it's catching again on this top side. Right about there. The whites I have them what I have in there is really close. Isn't too bad. Gotta get a lot of cad red and white, maybe just a little blue mixed in. Just a little bit more on this side. I put it in my knife because I like to get an amount of paint I can get in there. That was too much. I can use it over here. Gotta remember that angle. I'm kind of messed up the angle of the eyes. Push it back up a little bit. Okay. I put in now, I'm just putting in with that line and stuff. These lines. These are just the color you see underneath their eyes, that eyelash, right where you see some skin and stuff, the flip of the eyelid and stuff. I always find it kind of a purple. Almost all dogs. Just has a little bit of purple, red purple. Right there on that, as the skin catches some light. Okay. Now I'll go back to the little brush and think about putting in the nostrils and stuff. Okay, now I'm going to put in the nostrils, and then I'll get on the little bit onto the shoe in the background, a little bit, a few things here, maybe get the pads of the feet in. Again, the darkest color I got is alizarin and blue and stuff. That'll be always going to, even against this kind of a blue and stuff, this will make it stand in there and go in there and go in deep. It's on the red side, so it's on the alizarin side. 2 holes, same spots, but equal down. Split. Basically, just have a slight slit. We don't see that much on the other side of the nose, and I'm just gonna soften the outsides of the nose a little bit here. Get a nice transition between the nose and the fur. And this is usually going to be a little flick. One good one, and then a couple small ones. Same on the outsides here, maybe start getting that transition between white and light. And the color. Okay. There we go. Okay. Soften these edges up. Just have to touch them a little bit. Going down. This looks has a little more cad red and white right here on the very bottom here. Make sure I get that out. Right in that area. Okay. Get a highlight. What's missing on that nose is a little highlight underneath the hole. Just a little much, but that's all right. Let's push it back. One touch. Get those highlights in his nose, top of his nose, just right here, these right here on the edge. Just get those guys to pop a little bit more. There's a little more blue and white here in this color. Too much. I'm gonna hit those highlights in his eyeballs one more time too. When I get, it's a good placement, but not a perfect. This is gonna put these pads in a little bit, and those are gonna be just flat marks for the big pads. This one should be a little lower. Okay. These guys in there. This is cad red and blue. On the cad red side, I'm using right here for these pads. It's on the cad red side though. Pretty simple. On that, take one more look over here and see if we can get some of that stuff in. Got this color. I know it goes right underneath these eyes. It needs to be lightened up one more, just a hair more with cad red and a lot of cad red. This needs to be turned in right there. That needs to be blue. Okay. How are you doing at time? Should be doing pretty good. I feel like I got this pretty fast. Right there at 9, we got about time to do the shoe. Get the shoe in. Thinking this gets right in here. Yep, it'll look a lot better when I get the shoe. Big brush again, going back to a number 12. I go to a 12 here. Brush, dark one. I'm going to be using red, cad red and blue here, dark, keep it dark here on the shoe. And then bring it back with the lighter colors we talked about. Also, I'm gonna probably keep these shoes a little darker, even with the light the way it is. You know, I want to keep it a little darker going out because I just don't want to see anything too bright leading me off, even leading the eye off. So just gonna put in some darks here for where these guys go. There, and just like I said, blue and cad red. Then we should really push come back in with this brown. This is the burnt sienna and ochre mix. This is really still heavy in the ochre, or I mean the burnt sienna side here. And push that into this dark a little bit, start to make these shapes. Might have to bring that shoe up a little bit. Gonna have to probably end up doing a redesign too. I don't think gonna make her feet smaller. It end up being, I think. All right. Find that in a little more places. Trying to get a, basically I'm not really trying to get the right exact spots. I just want to get a really nice block it. Just get it blocked in a little bit more. Or I can really start to go back in and, judge more colors in this guy. And then set on a shoe here. Kind of grays, gray blues. It goes right into the flooring too a little bit. I'm not going to put the squares and stuff like that in this thing, but I might darken it in just a little bit. I think that will help. Tail grabbed a little bit too much tail there. Don't like that part. Push it back a little bit. I said for the top, I'm going to put ochre and cad orange together. Mixing probably just a little bit of unbleached white here. And just use that. Start to soften fur back here. It's one of the things, just got to really keep that, keep his fur soft. So that means really soft edges. Around there, and you should be all right. Fix up some of the drawing problems. I'm gonna darken it, and really pretty dark coming back in here though. Darker on the edges. Into the shoe. Okay. Okay. Now I can get a little bit more done here on the shoe, just a little bit more detail work. How's everybody doing? I think everybody took off on me. Lip a little lighter. Okay. Work on the shoe a lot more, needs a lot more work. But we're talking about the dog here. I want to get some greens and stuff into his fur down in here. So these are phthalo greens and with blues mixed in. These are just more towards the bottom where, you know, it's really reflecting of this floor and stuff. Getting these really kind of long. Ears going. Also need some, yeah, to tuck this foot back just a little bit more. A little wide. I said one more shot at the eyeball. That's it. Not done, but want to get that highlight in right. A little bit better. Eyeballs up. Okay, I'm gonna throw in a few. Start putting in a few whiskers and stuff like that. I put them in a little darker than they're supposed to be because I'm going to use a knife and stuff. I mean, just that way it leaves more paint. But get a few of these guys, pick out the ones that really just jumps out at you. So these are like mid-tone purples I'm using. And sometimes you just scratch them out too. You don't have to. You just need a few of these. Okay. Okay. Trying to see with blues and stuff, and the one maybe one with the warmth of a cat red into it. So when they jump out, they don't all look the same. Okay. Really, shoes about it. That's not gonna take too long. Just needs a few highlights here and there. Keep putting that in. And the wet hairs on his bottom of his feet. Okay, so I'm just gonna put them in my knife. I do that because I think I can get a lot more control with chaos. Okay. Yeah, push this front one in. Pop this out a little bit more, some more white, yellow white, around the tip of his foot. It's got to lighten the bottom of the floor here a little bit too. But I wanted to get a little bit of these guys in. Okay. Here's that. That floor one time. A little finger work. Loosen it up. That should good start. Okay. Anybody paint with me tonight? Everybody's microphones are off.
I did, but I have to share the news. I got a little baby grandson, so
Ooh,
call.
congrats.
I've been kind of goofing around with the paint. I did do something, but it needs work. That anatomy with the nose when you have a two-tone dog is so hard.
That was
Reminds me of the Burmese we did last year.
yeah, there's not much there in the photo either because the whites just burn out so much. Here, let me bring it in close. And you can start to see what I was talking about, the shapes I was using.
I like that soft touch with the muzzle and the left side, how you got the warmth there, or more the gold tones in the paint.
Yeah.
I'm trying, but I think you're getting a little too brushy. So I gotta maybe back off a little.
Yeah, it's kind of almost a straight down pull point on that thing, and not to because it's kind of like when you're painting rocks and stuff, you got to almost go straight down. You can't to get that shape
Right.
to stand out, the structure to stand out. Yeah, you can't be too wishy-washy on these things. Yeah, there wasn't much. No, even when I'm blowing this face up and stuff, I can't even get much up in here anymore.
Could I see the close up of the nose on your dog? You get the nostrils with the little like the sheen on the top part. Yeah, I just love that. I gotta work
Yeah.
on nose construction on dogs, I swear.
Those holes were
weird.
nothing but, those holes on the eyes are just nothing but alizarin and blue
Okay.
and red. And the more, little more alizarin, and then they're going up against a blue gray in the nose. That is a burn umber and blue, and it just for some reason it just makes those holes. And then when you put just a soft highlight underneath the nostril or above it, and it's really just kind of simple.
Yeah, it looks like he's really leaning into that shoe. I really like the way you captured the sense of lounging around on top of that shoe on a lazy afternoon.
I think I just got to bring the shoe into him just a hair more, but close enough for tonight.
Oh yeah.
Stunning.
Are you teaching a dog class then online, or what are you up to?
I am doing just a little workshop over in Valparaiso, Indiana,
Okay.
the art barn and stuff. This weekend on Friday and Saturday on dogs. But you got a baby. You got the baby, right?
Yeah, I got the baby, but that's over in Colorado, so a little distance. Someday-
you're not holding the baby right now and painting.
No, I got to see a FaceTime version of it, but
Okay.
healthy, 6.5 pounds.
Nice.
He's got a big sister now, so we're really happy for him.
Yeah, he got the package. He got some both salt and pepper. He's done.
That's right. Well, I hope so. I would.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know. Okay.
Anyway, it was fun. I really liked the dog painting series that you come up with.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. No.
So you are starting next week with your next series, correct?
Yeah. Next week, classes all start up next week. And most of you guys have already signed up for it.
Is it other than Valparaiso?
That next week, next week's are my online classes. Like this start up Monday nights, and they're just like this. Pretty much, we won't be painting dogs. We'll pretty much be painting a lot of landscapes, seascapes, a couple cityscapes, some nocturnal things, maybe even a still life thrown in. A lot of flowers because it's spring stuff. So we'll be doing a little bit of that.
Okay.
It's an 8-week course.
Sounds good.
Absolutely beautiful.
Thanks for the invite, and it was fun painting dogs with you tonight. I'll try to get in on one of those night. Is it Monday night for the class? Is that what you're doing?
Monday night and Saturday mornings.
Okie doke. All right, we'll do.
Either one. You're always welcome.
Okay, Jim. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks again.
All right. How's everybody else? Anybody paint or tried?
No, I didn't, but can you pay by the class instead of for the whole session?
You can. I'll let you know. If you're a newbie, I can give you a break. Like you can just pay. I think it's just $25 a class.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Yeah, you can just PayPal me or something like that. We'll work it out. I know. I'll find out where you live. Make sure you can.
All right. Thank you.
Anyway.
It's all on your website then, right?
Yeah, that's all on my website.
Okay.
But just let me know, and if you want to just do those single ones, that's fine too.
Well, your work is absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
I'm
Absolutely.
amazed at the size of the brush you use to get into these little teeny spots. Do you keep one color on one end of the brush and another color on the other side of the brush? Because it looks like you switch back and forth.
No, it's really just one color on the whole brush. But the thing is, it gets dirty on one side, so you got to flip it and flip your brush, and you got clean paint again. And then you can flip it back, and you got dirty paint. So it looks like you get a lot of different colors with that thing. It's just kind of fun. I like it because it's keeps me from getting too tight. Stuff keeps me. Go
Would
ahead.
would you consider this piece finished then?
3/4. I mean, over 3/4. I'm gonna take another look with a fresh eye, and there's a lot of little like blendings and stuff we'll be doing up in here, little hair blendings and stuff. But I need to walk away from it,
Right.
put a fresh eye and make sure the eyeballs are right size. That kind of little things like that. Especially if you're doing like a portrait for somebody, you're like, you do, sometimes just an eyeballs, just a hair too low can really throw it off. So I always like to take a double check on it, and then I'll be good. I'll feel better.
Fair enough.
But most of it's there. I'm gonna rework this floor and stuff. I was just having trouble with it and stuff, and wasn't exactly sure how we want to do it, and so it's
Mhm.
better just to leave it right now, and I'll figure it out.
And when you go back to it, do you go back to it if it's dry, just wet on dry?
No, I'll be done with it tonight. Either probably tomorrow. It's gonna be wet on wet, pretty
Okay.
much. Yeah, I don't, especially when you get all these like fur and stuff like this. It's really nice to be able to do it like this because you can just pretty much take care of it with your finger.
Mhm.
That's a lot of this is all finger work left to do on them and stuff, but just making sure you got the right marks in the right spots.
Sure.
And then, like I said, just one more shot at those. Look at those eyes just a little bit closer. Just I'm painting at an angle.
Right, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a huge disadvantage, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a little tough, but I've gotten used to it now.
When nobody's
So-
watching, do you still stand to the side?
I kind of almost do. I almost do. Yeah,
Huh.
that's kind of weird. Yeah, but that always helps for you guys, everybody to be able to see what's really going on and stuff as I paint instead of blocking with the shoulders too much or giving you a camera angle that's distorted and stuff and
Mhm.
try to give you a pretty straight shot stuff. So
Adorable.
you guys think you
Very-
can follow this? Can you follow how to paint like this?
Yes.
Makes sense?
Yeah, it does, yes.
Okay. Yeah, because every painting I do, no matter what it is, it's always the same setup. How I brushes, everything, colors, not the same mixes, but how I mix my colors ahead of time pretty much and know pretty much where I'm going to be going with the painting right off the bat. Sorry, I lowered this whole thing down so much you guys can't look at me. There we go. At least I can lean in a little bit.
There you go, yeah.
There we go.
Anyway,
I'm amazed at how much coverage you get with not very much paint.
Yeah, it slides on, and I do not use a lot of oil and stuff. It's a good, these are just Centurion oil prime linen I've been using and stuff, and so stuff slides a little bit pretty quick and stuff. So you
Mhm.
don't have to use as much. Probably the paint goes a little bit farther. Also, with what I was thinking, you can really get back down to the canvas very easily too. So it doesn't really, you can get really back almost pure canvas and stuff. I didn't go into that yet, trying to race out paint and stuff, but there's
Mhm.
a lot of nice techniques that I like the stuff for.
That's a slick surface then?
It can be a very slick surface. Yeah. Some people don't like it, but I gotten used to it so much that you can kind of depend on it. And so when you do run into a different kind of canvas you have to use, it just makes it like, oh my God, it really throws you for a loop. So anyway,
You have it taped with the blue tape just to hold it on that
Yeah.
board?
yeah.
But it
if
is
I
a
take-
panel? It's a hard
Yeah,
panel?
no, it's just this is just canvas.
Oh, just a
basically.
piece of,
Yeah, that's just canvas on here taped up on a board stuff. So I can take this and leave it over here to dry and then put a new one up. And then when this is dry, I can take it off and it's just a piece of paper basically to stack up over here. And that way, you know, I try to search, I gotta economize the space here somehow.
Mm.
You know, studio space is becoming premium here. Less lists, so.
So what size is that paper? Or
Oh,
can,
this one is just a 12 by 16.
okay.
So.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you,
Oh,
really.
great, thanks. Hey, thanks for coming in. It's nice to have some new blood look in and stuff. So,
I will be back.
okay,
Very
great,
much.
thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, you guys take her
Thank
easy.
you. All
You too
right.
now.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Night.
Bye.